friends, it's Bella. Welcome to Beauty on a Budget, and I wanted to do something for you today, a look that's very quick to put together but that will last in the heat. And the purpose of this video and the purpose of this look is really suitable for that hot summer weather, when it's uncomfortable to wear anything too heavy on your face, but you still need or want your makeup on your face. You know, I'm like, don't put the bins out without my makeup on, but you don't want a too heavy look either to look at or to feel, because that can be uncomfortable, but also that will last, because sweat and heat and humidity is not good for our makeup, is it? So I've got this look, and it's one that I've used every summer for quite a while. It's not a very heavy look, but it will last a day, and that's what I want it to do. So I'll show you how I do this. Okay, so in the very hot weather, obviously we prepare our skin first, but we should do that all year round to whatever's according to what we need at that time. So obviously my skincare is done. More so I would say in the summer than any other time, a primer is really important, because for me, for my skin, the heat, my pores show more. Obviously the makeup, where your face gets more moist, it shows more imperfections more. So I would say definitely a good primer, and also one that will dry smooth. You don't want too much of a moisturising one, but I use this for anything anyway. You know, I sing the praises of the Elf Putty Primer all the time. So I'm going to put the mirror down here, guys. So I'm going to put that. I use a beauty blender with it, a sponge with it. That's my NYX one. You know I love that one, guys. And I put that just a little bit all over my face, and that it just does a lovely job. This a lovely job. It's not the they did a second one, didn't I? think they do a few now, but they did a second one that had sort of more of a moisture to it, had more of a glow effect, but I don't use it. I use the original putty primer, and it goes a long way, because I just literally do that over the top. I put it all around my eyes, so I don't use a extra primer for my eyes, and then I just let that set for a few minutes just to sort of become less tacky. Okay, so we want the layers we put on to do as much, you know, to flatter our faces as we can, but not to too much camouflage or look camouflage, because it doesn't feel comfortable in that. I'm talking about that really hot weather, you know, when it's really uncomfortable, but you still want your face to look nice, still to be polished, but not to be dripping, and the makeup to be dripping. And you've got choices. I mean, there are waterproof makeups, there are bulletproof makeups, but you want one that's not going to give you that, because you can carry that kind of thing off. For me, this is just my opinion. For me, in the winter and the Christmas videos and things, yes, you can see I'm made up and it's much more camouflaged, but that shows more in the summer. That kind of look shows more, but you still need that amount of coverage. You certainly do if you look like this. So this is what I do. So you've got to look for things that have got the coverage, that you can use very little of to get that coverage, and that won't be too greasy. And my thing for me is something that I don't need to put a powder on top of. Now, if I've got my normal foundations, I will use my Airspun if I need it around my T-zone. But if in the really hot weather, I try to find one or a set of things in my makeup that I'm not going to need an extra powder. So For a concealer for my eyelids, and just underneath I'm going to use a tiny little bit, and this is the Milani Conceal and Perfect. Not necessarily my favourite concealer, but for this weather it's good. So I'm just going to put a little bit here, just follow that line round like I always do, just a little bit there, and we'll get a beauty sponge and we'll just follow that round. Got my mirror down here, guys, that's why I'm looking down. And we'll follow that round. Let's put the zoom on. You know that always frightens me when I put that. Okay, you can see my eye clearly now. And the same the other side. Now that will dry, and that will dry not needing onto my hand. As I said, we don't want anything too OTT, but it gives us that nice pale look around that area. Then I use it as an not a primer. What do I call it? A concealer, like an eyelid concealer, and obviously yes, a primer. And I put that on. I'm just using that as a primer, and then I want my sponge. Lightly tap, and I want that to be well blended in. Take a little bit of extra time if you need to, if you've got it. Okay, so I want that well blended in. Okay, so we've got that well blended. Okay, and you can see how long have I been sitting here in front of the mirror. I've got the mirror, obviously the camera, and the window is behind, but you can see how hot I am already. So we don't want anything that would make that even worse. Now, foundations. I would say these are definitely not my favourite foundations. They're not bad foundations, they're good foundations, but they're not my favourite foundations. But for this weather, and when we're dealing with that real heat, I find these two to be tried and tested, two of the best to give you coverage, not give you too much of a camouflage coverage, but stay the test of time. And this is Revlon, that's the Candid one. That's very good for staying the test of time. And this one, again, I said it's not my favourite by any means, but this is the CC cream. Now, it's not, as I said, my favourite foundation. But for this weather, put a little bit on the back of my hand. You don't need a lot of a thick layer. You don't need a second layer with the CC cream. I've just got a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm working that in with a dampened sponge. I'll meet up to there, but I'm not going right under my eye because I've already got the concealer there that I'm happy with. That's that one. This does an excellent job of covering up imperfections, and you need so little of it. It's got a 50 SPF in it, which is great. If you overdo it with this particular one, because it is excellent coverage, you will look very made up. And that's, I quite like a made up, because I said in the summer, in the winter, but not so much in the summer. So I'm going to just blend that in everywhere until I feel that's covered enough. Okay, so I've got concealer and the foundation on so far. Then I want to set that, but I don't want to use powder. I'm going to use, this is Instafix. Instafix and Go. This is the Rimmel one, and I like this. I really love this setting spray because it doesn't give you a masked face. It doesn't dry down too matte. It just gives a really nice finish. So I'm going to spray my face with that. It's got a lovely smell as well. Make sure I give that a good covering, and then I should just wait for that to dry. Okay, so when I've done that, it's still tacky, but it's not chalky, and it will last. It will dry down more and it will last. Now, this is the W7 Hollywood bronzer, and it's a dupe, which we all know, for the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star bronzer. This is what I'm using today for everything. So I'm taking the dark shade Burst, which is the bronzing shade. Fluffy brush like this, and I'm going to put that all over my lid, like this. All over, right down to the base, all of my eyelids. Bring it up to give it a bit of shape. And I will layer that until I'm happy with the depth of that. Then I'll take the light one, so I'm quite happy with that. I'll put a little smudge underneath. And I'll take the lighter one, the highlighter one, and very, very softly I'm going to blend that edge out. Just wiped that brush, it's the same brush. No fussing with lots of brushes. And I'm just going to blend that out under the arch of my brow there. Okay. And when I've done that, I shall go off camera and do my brows and my lashes. No liner or anything like that. I'm not tight lining or anything today. That's just all I'm doing. Okay, so I've got my brows on and my lashes on. A good mascara. Now, this may be just me, but I found some waterproof mascaras will smudge more than not waterproof mascaras. So just find one or wear one that doesn't break off very easily in the heat or melt. Your own choice of one. So that's that. And my brows are on. Back to my Hollywood bronzer again. I've got a big fluffy fan brush, and I'm just going through this bronzer here, and then I'm going to do the perimeters of my face. I'm going to blow off the ends, and I'm going to work round the perimeters of my face as I would do with any bronzer, but I'm going to bring it down because I'm not wearing a blush. So I'm just going to bring that down onto my cheeks where I would put my blush, but still mark out the perimeters of my face, blending it in well, and making sure I go under the neckline. Okay, so if you want to leave it at that, if you want to make it just a little bit glowy, I'm still using the same brush. Just take a little bit of the highlight, like that, and just go on the very top of my cheeks like this. Just like that, just between my brows there a little bit, top of my lip, just a little bit at the top there. That's it. And if you like to put a little bit of glow on your nose, my tip is not the end. There, you highlight the bridge a little bit, but not the tip. Okay, so now we need to look at our lips. I'm going to do something very, very light. A lot of you would prefer to use a heavier lipstick or maybe a bulletproof lipstick, but for me, I prefer something really, really light and something that I can sort of put on again during the day. There's a few choices. This is a lip jello by Collections, or you've got I would use this one. This is NARS. This is Orgasm in a Tube, which is lovely. But there's quite a few that you could use. But I choose to use this. I'm just going to use it with my finger. So nothing heavy. Sorry, my neighbours are in the garden. Can you hear, guys? I can't shut the window, I'll boil. So I'm just working that into my lips, as opposed to just letting it lay on top. Just tapping it with my finger. And basically, guys, that's it. That's my summer look, which all the colour has come out on them. But I enjoy it. I really like this look. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, guys, it's nice, isn't it? It's so light, it's so easy to do, and it doesn't feel like a ton of makeup on my face, you know, and you're using such a few things, and I really like it, and I love that Hollywood bronzer, I really do. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Give it a try, you know, something light, and test your makeup and see what lasts, you know. But less is more, definitely. I love that saying anyway, but in the summer, less is definitely more. I will see you again in my next video on Thursday, my live stream. Please come and join me, because I really love it when you come and join me. I'm still practicing, so I'm still a bit of a novice at live streams, but I will be doing live streams every Thursday for a little while, as you know. So it'll be 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, English time, every Thursday for a little while. Please come and join me. I would so love you to be there. So I'll see you Thursday, hopefully. Please take care of yourself. Bye bye, my darlings. Bye. Bye.